Hello again, this is Verde. In last episode, we made this lava factory over here. As you can see, I laid a facade over it, mostly so it looks acceptable. And you can probably see in the distance some changes over here. I made a basin, basically a small bit of ocean, so that I can make a kelp farm in the future. And my idea here is to make the whole thing that way, basically an ocean, but I don't know how easy will that be. And you can also see this rail line and that factory over there. For that factory, I actually made an entire episode on it and on its construction. However, I am not a very bright person, and I forgot to actually unmute the microphone. So I will get through it, and we will build another factory this episode. So for this factory, it uses lava and cobblestone that it generates in order to make andesite and clay. So there is a very simple method of making andesite via the using create mod by compacting lava and gravel and flint into andesite using one of these mechanical presses. So the idea there is that. But how do we generate flint, you may ask? And I have actually two methods going on inside there. Let me go to the other side where I have some windows. Actually, let's go inside. You can see I've organized my bag a little bit. Let's go inside. So, here, the cobblestone is generated, and it's crushed into gravel. No mysteries here, just gravel. Then, some of the gravel goes through the basins. But as you can see, it goes all the way through there. That's because the gravel that goes through the entire system and it's not fed into basins is then washed here into some flint and iron, which go back here and inserted into the basins. I'm using that very old technique of just laying iron inside the basins, even though we won't need it. That way we always have flint here. We don't have an excess of gravel. And the gravel is also being crushed into sand, clay, and flint. The flint is also put in here so it can go into the flint line. And the sand and the clay just goes right through it. And the sand is washed here. It is quite slow, but honestly, it doesn't matter. We have enough clay. We won't need that much. So basically, this is the whole factory. I also, in order to bring the lava here, which is the funny part, let's go through here. In order to bring the lava here, I made a small thing. This monorail, I suppose, which basically just brings lava into this tank. For a demonstration purpose, let's just remove some of the tank and put it back. So that thing drains. Let's try to hop in. Okay, this perhaps may not be the safest place, but here we are. This is a very simple monorail system. It is just a straight line. But basically, if we need lava elsewhere, we can just plug it into the monorail system. Which is, the monorail is just a create steamer rails version of a track that can be flipped up, upside down. So that's the idea. We have this monorail thingy, which we can then just wait until it has lava and it goes back. It's quite nice, actually. And it will stay there most of the time. That is because if we have several of these, we can just make it so that they come here every time. Like every Every time they need lava, they just hop in here, grab the lava, and stay where the lava. So that station is mostly empty most of the time. So anyway, that was what's going on in between episodes. Now for this episode, I'm gonna use that basing that I made there in order to make a kelp farm here somehow. But we have a problem with this basing. As you can probably see by here, this thing is odd-centered. Is actually even-centered. Which means that there is no clear center there. The center is the center of these two chunks. Which makes it so that rotating farm is hard to make. So I guess it's not hard to make, but it's hard to center. I wouldn't want a thing offset by 1, would I? What I could do, however, is to do some kind of a rail system going like that. I don't know if I like that. I could also put 2 arms that like go in and out, like one for there, but I don't really like that solution either. I don't know. Perhaps another of those systems here, a gantry system, could also work. That way the factory actually turns off when we don't need it, like it stays in the block form, or perhaps under there or under there. Yeah, the gantry farm has a benefit, the minecart also does, which is that we can actually turn it off entirely. Like, we could turn this thing off entirely, but we can't do that automatically. So this thing is also always spinning, same as that farm, same as this farm. Then actually, coming to think of it, I don't really want the thing turning off, because I will also be composting. Let me see, we can compost kelp. So I'll probably be composting some of the kelp. We can also sell kelp, but I won't be doing that. We will be composting the excess kelp in order for us to have more bone meal. Because even though we have a very big amount of bone meal here, more bone meal never hurts, right? And also, how we are doing on rich soil. Oh yeah, we have enough. Anyway. So I'll start my project here on the kelp farm, and I'll be right back. So I just wanted to show you guys this. Sometimes I need to craft some stuff using stuff that in my backpack, right? But I don't really like grabbing stuff here and crafting, so I can just put a backpack there and just request some sets of ingredients, and I perhaps requested way too many gantry shafts, but you get the gist, right? And my idea is that perhaps somehow I can make the backpack also auto refill with these things. I'll figure out some logistics, but that's something for later. Anyway, back to building. So, time for some progress update. As you can probably see, there is something that resembles a kelp farm. Let me sleep real quick. There are also some mobs here. I'll look into that soon. Yeah, as you can see, our coin supply took quite a hit recently, and that is because I spent like a lot of coins creating a stack upgrade tier 3. It is really a lot of coins, but it is worth it, since now every single stack of here can hold like 64 stacks. so I don't have to carry those void tiers anymore. Because honestly, if I can carry around 64 stacks of something, I might as well carry. You know, it is basically infinite at this point. And if it isn't, honestly, if I need more than 64 stacks of something for a project, then I'll probably be automating most of that process anyway. So the void tier doesn't really help that much. I also am making more use of this advanced refuel upgrade, that so that I can use my stuff. Like, oh, if I need dirt for some project, I just put dirt here, and there will be always dirt in my inventory. So anyway, going through the scalp farm a little bit. Let me put my boots. Uh, it's basically a kelp farm on rich soil. And then there's that minecart. I originally have planned to use a gantry shaft instead of these thing, but turns out gantry shafts can't be waterlogged. So I made this pretty simple mechanism here that just checks if this vault is somewhat full. Actually, let's turn this thing on if this thing is half full. Basically, if this thing is not full, it will make it be full by turning on the farm. And as you can probably tell, there is a very thin layer of glass here. That has a reason. Mostly because I built this thing too low, and then the kelp would grow tree high. And if the kelp grew tree high, then it would drop as an item, and it would generate some lag. We are already having some lag problems in this world, so I would prefer not to make it worse. And also, due to having some blocks of water here that are below a certain block level, and they are fully covered, we are having some glow squid spawn, which honestly at least put some ambience to that ocean, because we won't have fish here. Nothing that resembles fish. That's mostly because, first of all, we are in the plains biome, and I don't think fish can spawn on plains biome. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And also, we are in the totally wrong height level. And I believe fish has a predetermined high level in order to spawn. Perhaps I can find some ocelots? I don't know. Actually, speaking of ocelots, we could purchase one. Actually, we could purchase a lot of them, which is interesting, to say the least. We can probably fill the rivers and the basins with ocelots. I haven't thought of that. Anyway, that thing is. Let me go here. Those kelps are funneled down here via some chutes, and then this belt will basically bring the kelp wherever I need it to. Like, I'll put some belts here in order to just shoot it upwards using a fan. I believe that will do. And that's a very respectable amount of kelp, I suppose. That thing produces quite fast. Honestly, I believe it is faster than this thing. But who knows? I don't. That thing, however, is quite expendable. If I have... Expendable? From the verb expend, Verde. My pronunciation isn't the best. But the idea here is that if I somewhat... I don't know, for some reason, if I for some reason need more kelp, I can just extend this rail. Yeah, just like that. Very simple. Like, oh, I need tons more kelp for some reason. And I don't think I will be building out of kelp blocks. So I can't figure out a reason, but hey. It's something. But anyway, I will try to do that. I'll try to create a mock-up for the next part of the chapter, which will be, well, I already have automated kelp. Now we need to mix it. Yeah, we need to just mix them. Or, nah, we will mix them. We could do something like that, but I really won't. Anyway, we will make a mixing array. A very simple mixing array, 2 inputs, 1 output. I don't really know how I'll do that, but that's fine. Probably some synchronized input. That wouldn't be my guess. It works quite well, and we have tons of diamond blocks here. But and then we want to cook it by bulk blasting, of course. Yeah. And then we will want to mix it with some... We could craft it, but I believe if we mix it, yeah, we get better results. So, we need to mix it, this with that, then burn it, and then mix it with that. So that's the idea for our factory here. I want a very big burning array, like an oven or something, that is visible from the outside. There is my goal for this thing. So I'll try to mess up with those things, and I'll bring you guys in when I have some result. We have now the first part of the thing. It is actually quite fast. I didn't expect it to be that fast. But then I made this oven design. I believe I already showed that to you guys. But basically what this thing does is just take some clay from this belt, some kelp from this belt, and then just mix it all and throw it together in the middle belt, which will soon... Let me just make some adjustments here real quick. The idea here is that... Let me grab one of you. I want to pass exactly 64, always. So, we have these stacks of 16. 16 is a nice number for this thing, because it is a threshold for the blasting to occur at a very specific speed. And I actually believe I can just do something in this regard, like so. Let's just hope it goes in the right direction, right? Yeah, it does. Nice. Very nice. I don't really like these fans all going at the maximum speed, but hey, what can you do, right? And also, I want every output to go in the same belt. Now, coming to think of it, okay, we have the oven, whatever. Now, we want to mix it with the andesite thing, and I don't want to extend it all the way over there with another belt and use the 3-belt system and have the thing over here. It is a little bit far away. I would prefer if the output would be somewhere around here. So I suppose we could bring this guy back. I'll do some progress and I'll show it to you. Honestly, that was quite a lot simpler than I expected. I used a Nighten vault here just to move the items around. I know it is a little bit of a waste, but, well, what can I do, right? Basically, now I can... Let me fetch some kelp first so I can show it to you guys. I still have to connect to the kelp thing, and I failed. And I'm still failing. Okay, here we are. Let me grab some kelp. Just grabbing a lot of kelp at once, because honestly, I can. But probably the farm will consume less than that amount of kelp over there. But let just tell this thing to always give me a certain amount of kelp, so I can fill this thing. Like so. Done. So the kelp here makes these guys, which need to go into this. This guy only outputs 60 full stacks, basically, so that it is properly split into whatever this is. And honestly, this part of the farm is way too fast, considering the rate that that thing produces. But that's fine, I suppose. You really need to think up of something along the lines of shell for this thing. And it goes a little bit outside here. But anyway, we are producing a lot of andesite alloy block. Of andesite alloy now. So we will probably not ever need to purchase that again. Therefore, I will do this thing. Let me burn it. Great. Now, I won't burn the compacting drawer because it is a little bit boring to craft it. So I will do the following. Yay. It is empty now. Let me unlock it. And we have one compacting drawer. Extra. I expected me to have more than one. Anyway. I'll put them into this thing, actually, because I use them a lot. Oh, there. You can just drag the stuff here. So we have a dedicated... Never mind. We already had a dedicated slot to it. Oh, it wouldn't stack because it has a downgrade. That's fair. So, forget about this thing. I was using black stained glass in order to block the slots. So, you should now stack properly. Great. Now, these things will produce some andesite alloy, and I suppose this is enough, really. Because we, due to this quest over here, where is it? Here. Due to this quest over here not being repeatable, we will only have one line of... I forgot the name of those things. Anyway, of deployers to actually make the mechanisms. And therefore, this thing can totally keep up with that. I mean, it can keep up with way more than that. I'm actually a little bit worried about... Let me go here. This wasn't supposed to be here. Anyway, I'm actually a little bit worried about our clay supplies. Because as you can probably see, this takes a while. But we will fix that when it becomes a problem. Because honestly, we don't need much more than a drawer full of this. I mean, for the entire gameplay, I suppose. But I don't think we will need much more than, well, whatever there is here. How many? Anyway, let me break that thing. And we will need some pipes here and there. Thankfully, these are already pipes. I have an idea here of how to cover this thing. I could make it so it look like... not what I expected there. I could make that look like something like a rubber thing that connects the two factories that are very close together. So that would be fun. And now these are well within. Let me grab one terminal so we can see it. Here. We can now see a very big number of... God. I didn't expect this number to just do that. But that's fine, I suppose. Well, we should see now a very big number of andesite alloy. Like an ever-increasing number of andesite alloy. And that makes me wonder if I don't have too much iron. Like, I could put a downgrade here. Because this is nowhere near full. And it doesn't even have upgrades. Really. My idea is to place a downgrade and an upgrade. So it can handle, I don't know, 5 stacks of blocks. So it doesn't really show weirdly on my crafting terminal. But that's fine. I probably won't be using these crafting terminals forever. I'll probably switch to applied energetics eventually. We already ate like 250 cheesecakes through auto eating alone, which is nice. What is this thing waiting on? Kelp. Yeah, I've been bringing them manually. Anyway, I will hook up the kelp, and I'll be right back. Okay, now this thing is hooked up through a very simple mechanism. Like, it just grabs things here and bumps it up here using a fan, which I can't quite look at. There. Let me come here. So we should have now a ludicrous amount of this thing. Ever-growing amount of that thing, yeah. That should do it, yeah. Now let's mark some quests, shall we? We can mark this one. I can mark this one. We need to hold a algo brick. Excuse me. Thank you. You stop looking at me. You're making me uncomfortable. Anyway. And now we should hold one of these. Also, let me just mark this thing. Even though I don't really use an andesite lift, I just want to mark the whole chapter. So, next in line, we just need to grab some planks and put them together with whatever we need there. And we should complete chapter 1. So let's do that thing. Another small update here. I just found out that this thing, oh, where is it? That this thing can take blocks directly out of the backpack. Like, look at this. I will expand just a little bit. Like, up to here, I suppose. So, like, look at this. Oh, it is not taken from my hotbar. It's taken from my backpack. That is really nice. So those white tears are really unnecessary at this point. Anyway. So, turns out, I'm using less than 50% of the stress capacity of this thing. So, in order to just save up on doing Steam stuff, I will use the same stress capacity thing from this guy over here. Actually, not that guy. But anyway, from the steam tank over there, in order to feed the next thing, which is great. Oh, I caught a glimpse of that thing filling up. It seems like we are using some andesite. Let's see, very slowly. We don't really need to worry about that. Anyway. I've been thinking of just laying a very small factory here, so that we can grab what we need right off the right off the road here, like the chapter 1 thing. Yeah, that seems like a good location. Now, tell me if this isn't the cutest factory in the world. Actually, let me pause up a little thing. A few things here, because I stole some power from the factory nearby. Know what I meant to do. I need to encase these. This one is where the gravel goes if it's not used, because otherwise it can clog up the system. So, as you can probably hear, that tool breaking noise exists. And there is because of these things. Excuse me, we are using low retrieval modules, which only grab one at a time. But we are making some kinetic mechanisms. This is very cute, though. Like, I suppose I could even flip it on the side and have it on display here. That would be interesting. Or make a road here? Yeah, I'll make a road here. Makes sense, and I want to see this thing very often. Because it's very funny, and we can see the production throughputs all through that thing. Well, anyway, I believe it is time for some quest marking. This is done. This is done. And this is done. I need a saw. I don't want to. Yeah, let me break that. Thank you. And have it back. If you want. There you go. And now we have automated kinetic mechanisms. And really, you want me to hold one of these? We get some very useful stuff with it, which I totally haven't automated yet. Yeah, very useful stuff. Anyway, now it's up to me to put a cover on these things, which I often do in between episodes, mostly because I take so long to make these. And they're not that interesting, I suppose. But other than putting covers on stuff, I think we've finally managed to finish up the chapter. And let me just grab a little bit of thumbnail here, so we can actually upload this thing. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to like and to subscribe. Do also those things. Even though there are very few of you who actually get to this stage of the video. And I hope I see you next time.